Welcome back. Now we are shedding light on the 31st Summit, Arab League Summit, which was attended by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and it started on the 1st and the 2nd. It took 2 days of November, and we are going to shed light on the participation of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, also his speech before the summit, and also the meetings on the sidelines of this summit. So to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phono with Dr. Ibrahim Al-Ghazawi, Professor of International Relations. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Well, Dr. Ghazawi, now the timing of this, of holding the Arab Summit, there was no Arab Summit since the year 2019 due to the pandemic of the coronavirus, and this is the first one to be held after this pandemic. So tell us about your insight concerning the timing of the summit.
Well, actually, the timing is so perfect. I would say also probably it's very late. Indeed, we need to have such summits on regular basis. We all understand that we as Arab world countries have very much common ground in terms of not only aspirations as nations and people, but also in terms of challenges. And talking about challenges that we faced in the last couple of years, starting from corona pandemic and then getting into this the problematic crisis concerning Russian Ukrainian crisis that has put the whole world and also the Arab world indeed as part of the world in such a situation that we need to come all together and to discuss. And I think that the time was very much fit to allow the Arab leaders to come all together and to sit down and negotiate and look into many ways to join hands together to get through this critical time safely. And we need to do a lot indeed. And I'm quite sure that this summit also is not enough of itself as a gathering event, but its importance comes from what should be built on the outcomes of this summit, which is really, I see as very, very positive, not only for Egypt, but for Libya, for the whole Arab world. We need to build on this summit in the coming weeks and months, because we in imperative need to do that.
Yes, so Dr. Ghazawi, also on the sidelines of the summit, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held several meetings with the Algerian president, the Tunisian president, and the Iraqi president, and several sideline meetings. Could you give us your insight concerning this also, the importance of this in exchanging point of views and also speaking, in closed sessions, not an open sessions like the summit was going?
Well, one of the positive effects and results of such summits is it allows the leaders to work on the basic line of normal or conventional cooperation, which is between two countries, which
Yes.
is the most effective, and we have to stress on that point. Dealing and cooperating between two countries is very much easier than 3 or 4 or 10. It means that the baseline for cooperation is much stronger when it comes to two countries, especially if we have a lot of common ground, common interests. And I was so eager to see the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his meeting with Algerian President President Tebboune and also Tunisian President Chris Said to discuss the most important issue for the three countries, which is Libya. Libya is bordering three countries. Libya is a dear country, Arab country, which is into a very severe plight since, probably 10 or more than
Yes.
10 years ago. And we need to stress on our national security sensation when we talk about ways to get out of the Libyan plight. So dealing with the existing challenges, Egypt cannot do itself alone, a lot. But when Egypt join hands with Algeria, when Egypt join hands with Tunisia, and with also Libyan brothers, I think the chances, the opportunities of getting out of this plight very quickly will be very much, easier and accessible. If we also, focus on what happened in these meetings between Algerian and Tunisian leaders and the Egyptian president, we will see that all of this, topics are real concerns and real challenges to each of those countries. We talk about national security sensation, we talk about national security challenges, and we talk also about our, significant and deep needs to join hands together to block the way for outsiders, for some territorial powers that are, behind or between lines intervening, to turn the situation upside down in Libya by supporting militias and arming them and giving them access to freer movement and more expensive land to work in Libya, which is real threat.
Yes, Dr. Ghazawi.
But also for Libya.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Ghazawi, actually President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi spoke of this point that you have mentioned, the intervention in other affairs, the countries, the affairs of the countries. Yes, the President spoke of this important point. And Dr. Ghazawi, you've just mentioned now the Libyan file also was high on the agenda of the summit, the Palestinian cause, and one of the recommendations or the outcome of the summit was stressing that the Palestinian cause is the central of attention of the whole Arab countries. What's your comment?
Well, two things I have to say about that. First is, yes, I would strongly support the statement of all the leaders who had speeches during that summit by, denoting that the Palestinian cause is first and foremost of our interest and given the most of our attention in the Arab world, which is very good. And we need to reiterate this fact between whiles. But other thing which is, no less important is our real need to find way to convince Palestinians to come together and to let them rejoin hands again and forget their differences. And we have to remember that the Palestinian people are in real need more than ever, real need today, more than ever to unite together. And I have also to say the fact that everyone should know, especially our Palestinian brothers and their leaders in every side, that to be stronger and to be to have their voices heard in the right way, they have to have one word. They have to join together. And I'm talking about the differences between different Palestinian factions in a time where the Israeli occupation authorities are escalating their aggressiveness against Palestinians, are escalating their expensive aspirations and activities to swallow Beit al-Maqdis in Jerusalem. And we need to have our hands as Palestinians at first together, and then also the Arab will have to have all to come together. I don't see problem actually in the consensus between the Arab leaders to support Palestinian cause, although we need further to deepen that steps by putting this Palestinian cause on top of our individual agendas in Arab world countries, especially today, especially the influential countries that could really make a difference in terms of our international relations with superpowers and the Western world in specific. Especially also today in our recent time while some Arab countries like Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries, council countries, considering the energy
Yes,
problems
of
that
course, they discussed. Yes,
yeah,
that's true. The food and energy. Yes.
yes, exactly. That's the right time for us to exercise more pressure on the free world and Western world, especially influential countries, to exercise some pressure on Israelis to change their ever-existing practices against Palestinians and to allow access, real access, genuine access, just access to peace talks that could lead really to sustainable, living and sustainable peace that would also be for the benefits of Israelis even more than Palestinians and Arab world. I think that this is time to do that. And so I am talking specifically about two important points. One is Palestinians have to come together and forget their differences
Yes.
and look into the future and unite their words. That's first and foremost. And nothing is equal to this. Everything, other than that is much less in value. Other point which is also important is how the Arab world leaders could, translate the current situation and the side effects of Russian Ukrainian crisis in terms of energy market in the world today, and the vital need of most of the leading countries in the world to energy sources more than ever. To make some pressure for to allow sort of shifting and the stalemate position where the Palestinian cause is suffering for years and years today. Hopefully they can do that. I'm quite sure they can do that. And this summit is probably giving a positive window for Arabs to aspire that their leaders are in a position to do this today more than ever.
Yes. Yes. So also, Dr. Ghazawi, on the sidelines of the Arab Summit, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a meeting with the Iraqi president during which the president have stressed Egypt's support to Iraq and its sovereignty. How do you see his statements?
Well, it is always positive to hear the winds coming from, winds of stability coming from our dear Iraqi nation and
Yes.
Iraqi state. Actually, they have suffered enough. They have suffered since the invasion of 2003 that have left Iraq devastated. And of course, we hear every day about the problems in terms of corruption, in terms of lack of cooperation between different Iraqi sectors altogether, and sometimes the challenges coming from ethnic considerations rather than national one. So, by the election of the new president and new prime minister, and also rising sensation of different Iraqi elements, so the gravity of the fragments and the fragments and division over their national causes and the need to come all together again. I think that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was clear enough to show the Egyptian aspirations for Iraq to come back safely to its normal position as a strong and stable country. Also, Egypt's readiness to support Iraq in whatever way we could do that. But we have also to reiterate the fact that it's not only about Iraq, but also any other country suffering from such problems. They have to realize for themselves that they own the key out of this crisis. If they come together, if they feel that the country itself is above all sectorial or ethnic considerations, if they feel that they under heavy challenges that could undermine the existence of the state, and if that happens, there will no hope for states to rebuild again, to be rebuilt again in the coming years. And we have a lot of examples around us. So, hopefully, The election of new president in Iraq and new prime minister and speaker of the People Assembly will open the way for more stable phase in their recent history, during which they can feel their responsibilities as Iraqi citizens, nationals, regardless of their ethnicities. Because, during the fire does not make difference between one ethnic and another. The fire eats all, and we all in Arab world would love to see Iraq back again strong and united.
Yes, Dr. Ghazawi, also the President, in his speech before the summit, he said that he's keen on boosting ties with brotherly countries and also continuing with the pivotal role to coordinate efforts for the interest of the Arab people. How do you see his words?
Well, I'm quite sure that the President Sisi is fully convinced of the value of
expanding relations and ties.
Exactly. Yes, and of course, what the President said is clear enough, and it's a real goal, and national and Arab goal indeed. We need to join hands together. We need to be cooperative more than ever today.
Yes.
As I said at the beginning, that the challenges that we face today are unprecedented. We have never faced such blights before. And also the outcome, the economic, heavy repercussions of the current crisis on the Arab world, on Egypt, and Tunisia, and Sudan, and in every world country indeed, in other words also. It imposes on us that we have to join hands together. I have also to remind our distinguished viewers that we in the Arab world have a lot of commonalities and have a lot of common grounds, and also have endless resources that could be easily, brought into sort of organized, well-elaborated cooperation schemes that could, within few years, bring about tangible and real achievements that could be very helpful and beneficial to all Arab people. And that's what we need today, considering the lack of, wheat and lack of other and corn and other, agricultural, crops that resulted on the crisis in Soviet between the Russian and the Ukrainian crisis. We in Sudan, for instance,
I thank you very much.
We could build a lot on our cooperation together.
Yes,
I think to do that.
Yes, thank you, sir, very much for your valuable information. Thank you for your time, Dr. Ibrahim Al-Ghazawi, Professor of International Relations. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.